Have you been following the escalation between Ottawa and Montreal?
Huh?
There's some
What's going on?
shit's popping off.
What's happening?
So there was there's a PWHL match
Okay.
happening between the Victoire and the Charge. Between these two teams, a sign was held up. And this is what the sign said. So, someone held up a sign at a professional women's hockey league game, and the sign, it's this bad angle. It said, Montreal shawarma is mid, and we're going to war.
Damn. Damn.
We're going to war.
People got mad?
I mean, I will cloak myself in the righteous armor of Bustan. And I will, like, shine my sword, and I will mount my steed and ride into battle. It's crazy. How dare you? Ottawa.
Okay.
Ottawa is saying Montreal shawarma is mid.
Okay.
Isn't that the most out-of-pocket shit you've heard?
Okay.
I don't like the amount of okays I'm hearing out of you right
That's
now.
a lot of okays, huh? I did live in Ottawa.
I know, that's why I'm bringing this up.
For 2 years.
That's correct.
That was 20 years ago.
I need your Ottawan perspective.
I have to say that I had some pretty damn good shawarmas in Ottawa.
Don't do this. Not like this, dude.
I'm so sorry.
Not like this.
That was 20 years ago. I haven't had a shawarma in a long time in Ottawa, but they had some pretty good shawarmas. There was a spot downtown that was pretty solid.
Like this?
Like that. I swear to God.
Comme ça?
Like what? And also, Bustan, pretty good, but it's a franchise, so it depends on the location.
This is true. And over the years, different people, different, you know.
Yeah, depending on where you go, your Bustan might be super great, serviceable, or it might be trash.
But Bustan Prime.
Bustan Prime is pretty solid.
Like,
but when I think of Bustan
original
Prime,
location.
when I think of Bustan Prime, it's fighting against the memories of those good shawarmas I had 20 years ago. But it was 20 years ago. It was 20 years ago. A lot of things can change in 20 years.
A decade is a long time.
That's 20 years, okay? Now, I don't know what's going on in Ottawa, but
you're saying that
honestly, it's a coin flip in Montreal. I'm sorry.
you think they got their shit together like that, huh?
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I have to say that on
That's
the board.
crazy. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I see where your loyalties lie.
It's not about loyalty. I'm torn. I'm torn. It's a two-party system, and I'm like, come on, bruv.
Time to go hit up.
There's good people on both sides.
Time to go hit up the professional women's hockey league and blow up the stands. It's time to become an ultra. Get the flares out and start chanting.
I'm so sorry for saying this.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm hurt.
I know, it hurts to say. It's like choosing your favorite child, you know? It's like,
Okay.
you don't have a favorite child, but you have a favorite child.
I mean, it's like, do I have to like take a trip down and like?
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in 2025 in Ottawa with the shawarma game.
Am I gonna bite into a shawarma in our nation's capital and then light the place on fire? Am I gonna burn a couple of shawarma places to the ground? You know.
Also, who knows what god-awful thing they tried? That person who had that sign in the stand. What if they hit what if they hit some fucking French taco spot?
Okay, because that's the thing is if you're coming from a mirror or some like shit like that, then like whatever, no, you know, like
again, a mirror depends on the location because it's a franchise.
I'm gonna say a mirror across the board. Forget about it.
The one on Acadie is pretty legit.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, you know, and Basha's, you know,
Basha on the lower end.
Yeah,
that I admit.
You know, but there's some spots. And
there's some spots that are really good.
All right.
Shawarma Original on Acadie, one of the best spots in town, you know.
Shawarmas with a Z also.
Shawarmas with a Z.
They're good.
They have an amazing, like, You know the potato?
Yeah.
With garlic potato?
Yeah.
And they make a poutine with it.
That's the garlic potatoes on the side when you get your this is what I'm saying.
Dude, I'm so sorry.
Taste those garlic potatoes in your mind's eye right now and tell me that fucking Ottawa, flat, no building, Spider-Man can't swing Ottawa is keeping up. That's crazy. All right. Well, listen, I'm just saying, I'm letting you know what's going on out there in the streets.
Oh, that's a crazy battle.
That's a wild one. That sign, I was like, red lasers, ting. Oh boy. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
That's awful. That's a situation where I'm like, damn, do I want to go to war?
Which side?
And on which side?
Which side?
Am I gonna be a centrist pussy ass motherfucker? I gotta choose?
God, yes, at Castle Gaston, like, my liege, a messenger has arrived. Do you accept them in?
I'm just like, really? Oh, come in, just take off your shoes.
Have you not pledged allegiance?
For real?
You have been summoned.
Word on the street?
We haven't seen you. You haven't been around. What's going on, my lord? I don't like this. All right, to be continued. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah, actually, to be continued.
But govern yourself accordingly. I'm gonna need to get to the bottom of this. Let's get down to business.
Okay.
To defeat the Huns. When we last left you, there was a storm brewing.
Right.
It's outside. You can hear the thunder right now.
Yes.
What did that sign say, Reggie?
Montreal shawarma is mid.
Montreal shawarma is mid, they said. Thunder.
Shawarma gods are...
God has an opinion.
Oh, word.
You hear that?
I hear that.
So, that sign was held up, and now we have found ourselves in the thick of it.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
All right.
I said...
Oh, no. Oh, fuck. God damn it.
Okay. All right.
So back to business.
Back to business. All right. I wanted to find out what the deal is because I asked you, Reggie, is this true? Is Montreal shawarma mid compared to Ottawa? And you didn't convincingly say no.
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know.
And that left me shook.
Yeah.
And that left me concerned.
To be fair, I did say that my data was very dated, very old. Right.
And to be fair, so is mine, right? Because I'm going off of the good old days of Boostan on Crescent Street, right? The original, one of the best, and that crispy, perfect, like, healing.
Absolutely.
Healing shawarma, right? Yeah. Okay, so upon deep dive, here's where we get to. It turns out, as Ottawa is known as the shawarma capital.
I did not know that.
That is a informal name.
I did not know that.
They have given themselves, and I'm like,
oh, self-appointed.
Self-appointed. Okay. Self-appointed, and I'm like, Now, what goes into this? What's the reason why? And one of the reasons why is it turns out that there are 200 or so shawarma joints that you can get shawarma at in Ottawa.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. There's a lot, right? And so I'm like, but that's not enough. We need to find out really where are we going, why, what's coming up. We could get into demographics, right?
Oh boy.
But here's what you need to know. Here's what you need to know. There's a fairly large Lebanese population in both cities.
Right.
Ottawa would claim that they had more, but it's not true, right? And we have a big variety of restaurants here, and there's a lot of places that open up that are like, we can go with shawarma, which is the quick, classic, wrapped up food ready to go, or you can go with traditional cuisine with like a larger menu because you have options because there's a lot of people here. You have millions around. When you have less of a population, you kind of stick with the essentials, which is if you're opening up a shawarma joint, if you're opening up a restaurant in Ottawa, you're probably going with the shawarma joint because it's much more straight to the point, direct, and
Right.
So they have been keeping it simple and just working on that while we have had a wider range of what's going on, it seems.
Okay.
And with that, they have been putting work in, and apparently there's some really good shawarma coming out of Ottawa.
Okay.
Worth considering.
I believe.
Now, there have been places that we've gotten over here that not just Boostan, but we've got other joints. We talked about shawarmas, right? There's some other places around. We, like off the corner, you kind of talk about like your Amirs and your Bashas. You're like, that's absolutely just whatever quality. But Moods is one that's, up there. And so what I'm catching is...
I like Shawarma Original. I like Abu Elias, personally.
So Original
yeah.
is one of the spots that is currently considered a joint.
Yeah.
A representative joint.
I've been to the one on Nakazi a few times. It's pretty good.
Okay. So I have with me here some Shawarma Original.
I see.
I have a chicken and I have a beef and veal, two wraps. And I tasted them a little bit earlier.
Right.
And I brought some as well for you.
That's very nice of you.
To taste some of what's going on here. Little hiccups aside.
Yeah.
There's one of each. Are you down for a bite to see what's going on? We've got some garlic sauce.
Yeah.
And some hot sauce on the side as well, if need be.
I mean, I'm down for a snack.
Okay. All right.
Still hot.
Yeah. I tried to keep it nice and warm but you'd have it nice and warm by the time you got here. Some people do it with hot sauce apparently. I don't know why that's a thing, but it's a thing.
Yeah, usually I would, sometimes some harissa on it.
Now here's where things get a little more interesting too, right?
It looks like we have a sage bread here.
Yes, not just regular
the pita bread.
Pita, right? So the sage bread, that's important because it's thinner and it's much more original and representative of shawarma as you would have it back in the old country.
It smells very good. I will say this.
How's your preference towards the chicken or beef?
Chicken is a classic for me. Beef once in a while. I'm also partial to the mixed. To have chicken and beef.
Mixed is good.
Mixed is pretty good.
But sometimes you can't distinguish between the flavors enough.
But chicken is the way to go.
I like beef and veal together.
Okay.
And that's what you got going on there.
All right. Let me get in there.
Yep. So on one side, Reggie's going into the beef and veal, and this one it's thinner. It's much more packed with meat. Toppings on that include onion, harissa, and pomegranate. Right? Pomegranate is a pretty cool, you don't find it too often, shawarma topping. And mad respect for that. You gotta get your onions and you gotta get your other pieces in there. But here's how you know they're fucking up. When they put lettuce in it and then they heat up the lettuce. And you get a hot lettuce shawarma, that's when you're done, right? Completely, it's a wash. Forget it.
I took a nice bite.
Okay.
It was very tasty. Juicy, nice sauce.
Okay. You like the harissa?
I'm a big fan of harissa.
Big fan, yep. There's also, whatchamacallit in there?
And lamb, sometimes when you go, like, they don't have any more. And you're like, we just have the beef. You want the beef? And you're like, okay, yeah, sure. But the lamb is pretty tasty.
Yep. And cilantro, right? If you're not somebody that tastes the soap, it's wonderful.
I bought some cilantro actually this weekend to cook with my beef and shit.
There you go.
It's pretty good. I'm gonna go for the other one.
All right. So the other one is
that was pretty good.
All right.
That was pretty good.
And the other one is just the default, the chicken. I noticed when I looked at it that you could barely see anything else. It's tightly packed. It's just chicken. And like the sauces and everything else is around the side real tight. So you're not getting a shawarma where, you're looking at like 50% chicken and then like other stuff going on. You're getting like 90%, right? Quite solid. We hitting or we hitting? We hitting or we hitting, Reggie?
That's out of the park.
Let's go. All right, shawarma original on l'Acadie. Doing it. And
but hey, to be fair,
yes,
when we were talking about it the other day, it came out of my mouth. I said, hey, yo, we have some good spot. I mentioned shawarma original right away.
Now that's the
So
place.
you bringing me this is like you ain't convincing anybody. I've been on board.
Well, I just need to remind you.
Where your allegiance should stand.
I need to remind you where your allegiances lie, all right? Just in case you forgot where you live. Okay?
Yeah, that's pretty
We're
good.
buying our votes.
Because this is like, you know that they got like, you know, the good way to like cook the meat and the charcoal and everything, and tasty, well marinated, full of flavor.
So here's what we got, right? We're talking apparently 12-hour marinated chicken. No time to fuck around. So. This is where things get interesting now, right? Apparently, Ottawa's current, like, title holder is a place called Dunya.
Okay.
Dunya Shawarma. And Dunya has been known there as like a solid go-to. And kind of like Original has lines around the block, you got lines going out of Dunya as well, right? So, trip to Dunya might take some time to get going. It turns out, as of last September, Dunya has opened up a Montreal location.
Oh. Invading?
As of a couple months ago, there is a Montreal location. So we can find out what the fuck is going on.
So that means there's a trip in plans.
At the very least, we can have a part 2 and find out what's happening here and compare there. And I don't know, you see, some might say that, hold on a minute, kind of like with Bustan, the moment you leave the original location, question marks, right? Oh, we're going back in. We're going back in, right? That's just, there you go, all right? So we can find out and maybe see what's going on with Dunya and see if they are representing Ottawa. We can get a second opinion on things and see how it's going. But right now, with your mouth full and your hand on the mute button, Reggie, I ask you, does Ottawa beat Montreal at shawarma?
No.
All right.
No.
All right.
Yeah, but you gotta know where to go, because there's a lot of noise out there, you know?
I hear there's a lot of noise in here right now that
right.
I'm catching over there.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm gonna finish this before we start.
Yeah, you finish that. You go in, baby. Take your time. You know, it's all for you. Hey, I did it for you, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Here's what I'll concede this point. I will concede this point. As a place that has been, you know, marinating, so to speak, in just shawarma joints, and we have a fuller range of cuisine going on over here, it is true that if you walk in off the street to a random Amir, a random Adonis, a random Basha, I can't co-sign that. And that's true, right? So one has to say...
Anytime it's a franchise, you're in trouble. You're like, it's a coin flip, you need to know which corners to hit, you know?
Hot lettuce. And this is where we're like, now we have the idea of like, okay, if you were to make that statement, are we talking about the median or are we talking about our peaks? Because we can decide to make the goalposts that we're talking about the median, but who cares about that, to me?
Wow.
Right? If you go, New York has the best pizza slice. And then you're like, yeah, where should I go? And you're like, oh, well, don't go to the best places. Just go to any spot, kind of any. Like, why are we even talking about that? Why not go see what's going on? And not just that, like to get it more local, like bodega sandwiches, you know what I mean? Or like one of those, or like banh mi and things like that, right? Like, you're gonna say some spaces where you kind of want to be like, yo, go try this place.
This one in particular, really good.
Yeah.
The representative of the thing.
So what I'm talking about, what's good about Montreal shawarma, I'm not telling you to go hit up whatever. You know what I mean? I'm telling you to go to the places that are like, yo, this is what we stand on. Well, you don't send in your Olympic team of average Canadians to compete in the Olympics. You send your best. And then the Team Canada is our best players.
Yeah, okay.
The fuck are we doing, guys?
Alright, so I should not mention the shitty Amir Bashas. You know, I was trying to see what was going on in that person's brain when they had that sign, you know? Because you have to put yourself in their shoes. Okay, why would they think something so absurd? And my answer was, if you go to the wrong location, what if they went to a French taco spot? Cooked.
Yep.
What if they went and they had like bread with a bit of meat and fries inside and it was dry and garbage? And then you're like, this is representative of your city? It's garbage. Who can blame them?
Poutine outside Quebec.
You know? That's the thing. That's the thing.
Okay.
Poutine outside Quebec.
That's it, right?
Why?
Why are we even having this conversation?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But
People that come here and they're like, oh yeah, I had poutine, it was bad. I had it at the McDonald's. And you're like, what are you talking about, McDonald's poutine?
Yeah.
That's the furthest thing from the real thing.
I mean, that was a discussion that I recently had with somebody. I was like, all right, man, like, look, it's...
And if they're standing on principle with that, then you can't save them. It's like, all right, well, there's
I get
your
it.
problem.
You like McDonald's fries, they taste good. That doesn't mean that's what a poutine is. Anyway, whatever. That's a whole other discussion.
Yeah.
All right. You know what I think, though? The fact that you had that little moment in your mind of like going, Ottawa, I do remember, right? You were feeling the influence of the self-appointed capital of shawarma. And they have a lot of places. So I'm not going to write that off.
I didn't even know that it was that big on shawarmas. But to be fair, when I think back in the days, there were a lot of shawarma joints.
Yeah.
And some of them were pretty tasty.
And I looked up the history, and it turns out that's the case.
That's
you know,
the case.
That's where that name comes from, etc. So I'm not going to disrespect the fact that they've been working at it, keeping it simple, right? With one thing. We're a bigger city. We have a lot going on. We've got a larger menu. We got a, you know, if you want to get a full Lebanese experience, there's a lot of options for you. But to take nothing away from that, we got to hit up Dunya and find out what the fuck is going on over there. We might need to make it out to a women's hockey league game just to make sure everybody knows what's up. You know?
Dunya is all right.
Keep eyes out for a fucking sign holder. Yeah. All right.
You know, funny thing is, after the stream, we had a little talk. And then I told Woolie, you know what the name of the shawarma joint was in Ottawa that had that really, really good shawarma I had? It's called Montreal Shawarma. And he was like, come on!
Can you believe that shit? Can you believe that shit? The place that he liked in Ottawa was called Montreal Shawarma.
It was really good. I don't know if it
Fucking
was
crazy.
I don't know if it was like
That
garlic
is
or mint.
crazy. Imagine, imagine the person holding that sign had to open their mouth up and I'd be like, yo, so where should I go?
Montreal Shawarma on Rideau Street.
Imagine you
Go
had
check
to
it
say
out.
that with a straight face.
Well, hold on. No. It's just the name.
Yo.
It's just the name.
We don't deal in hypotheticals here. All right? We get to the fucking bottom of this. WoolieVersus investigations. You want to say some crazy shit?
Yeah.
You
Get
want to
debunked.
say Montreal Shawarma's mid? You better have hands and you better stand on business because we're coming. All right, part 2 soon.